Yeah.
All right.
Hey, welcome to Microphones of Badness. We're actually broadcasting live for some godforsaken reason, because we're all going to be Dick Van Dyke tonight, as we are playing Scritch Scratch, which takes place in rural England.
Right.
And, we're all very American.
Tonight I am British, English.
So yeah, join us for some laughs. So yeah, we're playing Scritch Scratch. Why doesn't everybody introduce their characters, and then we'll get this underway.
Who wants to go first?
Willie, you can go first.
Well, I was busy. Okay, I was multitasking. Hold on a second. There's things that I need to press buttons for.
Multitasking.
Yes. Yes.
Why don't you go first, nephew? Why don't you introduce yourself to the lovely people?
We're gonna get it all out of our system.
Well, all right then. The name's Simon Johnson.
Crikey!
Why?
From Australia.
Christ Almighty!
I'm from the UK by way of Cheshire. Anyway, so
It's from the alternate reality UK, where the American Revolution didn't stop in 1776, and we invaded England.
Yeah, there we go. Then, yes. Well, anyway, I'm a university student there, doing the chemistry because my uncle, who I love very dearly, wants me to do the chemistry. Sadly, I'd prefer to be the ant behind the window covers. You know what I mean?
You need to have a job to pay the bills, and then you can have your hobby, taking the pictures.
Photography is my life, Uncle. Why won't you let me take my pictures?
I'm not going to make it through this if you guys do the accent.
One day, you may get a patron to help support you, but until then, you need to pay your bills. You need to get a job and move out.
So who
20
are you?
years old. My name is Paul Martin. I am a cleaner. And I have my lovely wife, Shirley, who I'll refer to as Mrs. Martin for the rest of this scenario, and my lovely nephew Simon, who I love very dearly. May his parents rest in peace. I love them so much.
Willie.
Well, I'm playing Shirley, and I'm not gonna fucking do the accent because they're
you.
ridiculous.
Thank you.
Oh, Mrs. Martin.
Oh, blimey!
Don't call me that. I have a name. How about you call me my name for once in our lives, please?
Because we still... I'm kidding. I'm not going to go down that road.
That's why they
No,
don't
go
have...
for it. As she doesn't like y'all, but she's just gonna go ahead and get that out of the way.
Yeah.
She's a bit resentful that she gave up her career for her husband and her nephew.
Every day it's just divorce. Serve me the papers.
Oh, please. She's so much more passive aggressive than that.
All right, T. Don't you Uncle get all apples and pears now. Just let it be, you know.
Oh, I tell you, the boy just ain't right.
Down the stairs.
So, to translate all of that, you guys are a cleaning company. You are the people that come in and clean up trashed apartments, dilapidated homes to make them livable for the next tenants. So, or whatever, but that's kind of what you do. You have been hired to clean the house of the village rat catcher in the quaint town of Muscovy, which is nestled in a secluded valley somewhere in the north of England, just a little too far from the closest railway line to become a commuter haven, and with a tendency to get snowed in during the winter. The village has struggled to survive in recent decades as families have moved out to find more comfortable and lucrative lives away from the land of their ancestors.
Fucking Tories only ruining the economy.
The village school was the first to close, followed by the cottage hospital, now a gift shop, And then the post office come general store, which these days functions as Lucy's Tea Shop. And that's shop, SHOPPE, shoppy. At least the bright red post box is still mounted on the wall, so the tourists have somewhere to deposit their postcards. Determined to develop the area's potential and ease congestion in the surrounding national parks, the local council has spent the last 2 summers improving the roads into the valley and establishing hiking routes through the hills and woods to link up with the region's other more prestigious natural attractions. As a result, many of the houses in Muscovy now belong to absentee landlords who rent them out to visitors during the summer months. Only 1 or 2 of the old village families remain. Their houses are easy enough to spot. They all look like they can do with a little helping of tender loving care. However, there's a fly in the council's redevelopment ointment. Muscovy has never not had a rat catcher. His dingy cottage stands at the end of a lane above the village and backs into the woods beyond. Indeed, the rat catcher's trade is proudly displayed for all to see. Despite the council's best efforts to route tourists away from the rat catcher's cottage, they always seem to end up wandering through the woods behind it as a shortcut from the official footpath to Muscovy and its picturesque Anglo-Saxon church. The council received numerous complaints from property agents on behalf of their clients, and no one was quite sure what to do about the matter. That is, until the rat catcher, known locally as Old Gertine, was run over by a trio of visiting cyclists one morning, just over a month ago. According to the cyclists, the old man suddenly appeared out of the hedgerow and stumbled into their path, carrying nothing but a large sack full of dead rats. That's my kind of guy.
It figures our keeper would be a little partial to this man.
I love this guy. He's my hero. Thanking their lucky stars, the council believes they have been presented with the perfect opportunity to get in and clean up the woods while old Gertine is in the hospital. All under blah, blah, blah. All right. So basically, you have been hired because this guy is involved in the hit and run and he broke a hip because, you know, he's the old man. And you guys have been hired to clean his cottage because apparently he has this reputation of being unclean and a bit of a hoarder. You are also being followed by a film crew who is filming a kind of a British version of
it's Hoarders UK. All right, then.
So for some reason, they thought that you would be perfect for their pilot episode.
Of course we are.
Why wouldn't we? We're the most successful cleaning company around. Sorry.
Uncle, are we getting a cut of this check here? I got some bills I need to pay that down at the student union.
What? You mean tuition?
That too.
I'll pay for it.
They have student loans in England as well. So you guys putter up into Muscovy in 2 vehicles, your official cleaning vehicle, and then the van containing all of the TV equipment. The road leading to Muscovy is fairly new, but the route that goes through steep hills as it winds its way up to the village is kind of an ancient route. Once through the pass and over the crest of the hill, the village can be seen laid out in the valley below, although it's hard to make out many details through the steadily falling drizzle. As you pull in, there's a rather oversized car park, which looks brand new, which marks the entrance to the village. A single main road snakes up through the cluster of houses that form the village before petering out into a little more than a lane as it nears the woods on the far side of the valley. A small church squats in the middle of what appears to be a field about a half a mile from the main village. It is late summer, almost at the end of the holiday season, so thus you see only a few cars are parked in the car park as you drive past. Your route will take you past the aforementioned Lucy's Tea Shop. On your way to the cottage, you also notice there is a pub and a gift shop. What are you guys going to do?
Who's up for a tea?
Oh,
Shirley
yeah.
is very diligently fixing her makeup.
Yeah.
Well, Shirley, once you're done with that, should we head into the tea shop?
Yes, whatever.
I'm gonna get yelled at for this for accent.
It's gonna be so great.
Switching.
Yep. All right.
So
I'm already murdered
What was that?
3 different nationalities
It's
in my
just-
accent.
Okay, so as you guys park, there's plenty of places to put the cars or the vans. As like I said, there's not a lot going on in the village. What is her name? Sorry, Amanda Peterson, who insists that you call her Manda, who is the producer of the show. Comes up to you and says, well, what we should probably do is get some exterior shots of the village, just so we establish the ambiance of where we'll be working today, or you'll be working. So if you want to go into the tea shop, we can maybe set up and get some shots of you drinking the tea, providing custom for the village, all in the name of good television. The BBC will love it.
Right.
Or do they call it the Beeb?
I've heard it called both, I think.
All right. So we're going into the tea shop, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
The exterior of the tea shop, it can only really be described as quaint. There's a wooden picnic table covered with a red and white gingham tablecloth held down by hand-painted pebbles. There's a patch of stone flagging in front of the tea shop, and Amanda, you can see her smile as just she determines that just the character of this place oozes, screams good television. The old sign for the post office can clearly be seen on the wall above the still remaining red painted post box. But as it's been wet and drizzly, the table is empty.
I'm going to get a good shot of that picnic table and sign, nicely framed. With that old new contrast there.
Simon, what are you doing?
I got to dig a bit to this, Auntie. Gotta get a. That's a.
We got to be able to understand what you're saying.
Oh God, dang it!
Can we ever understand what he's saying? No,
Yeah, but I mean, you got to make it easy.
I'm kidding.
We're just trying to get a good picture of the get a good shot here, Auntie.
That's lovely and all, but you know your uncle will have your head if he finds out you're doing that while you're on the job.
Oh, we're not on the job yet.
The cameras are rolling. Of course, we're on the job, dear.
Yeah. We're paying the bill. Yeah, we're doing the salvaging shots. B-roll.
Just don't let him see you do it.
I guess I'm looking in the shop.
Yeah, as you
this.
enter the tea
Bumbling
shop,
ass.
a brass bell hanging from the doorframe rings. Inside the cafe are several tables, all covered with the same cherry gingham fabric as the picnic table outside, and each is decorated with a jam jar full of fresh flowers. How's that for quaint? Local artists' watercolor paintings, as well as china plates from over a dozen different services, cover the walls. It looks
Almost quaint.
very much like the archetypical idea of a quaint British tea shop, even down to the rows of large brown teapots on the dresser behind the service counter. The smell of fresh baking fills the air.
Oh. I think I'll have a scone.
A middle-aged woman with dusty blonde hair appears from what must presumably be the kitchen in response to the doorbell. There are a couple of customers tucking away into bacon sandwiches as it is breakfast time. They all appear to be thankful to be out of the rain, but no one looks up as you come in. The woman asks, "Oh, may I help you?"
Oh, I'd like a table for 3, if that would be possible. As I look around.
Yeah, take your pick. We're pretty casual here.
Oh.
Looks like you have more than 3 though. What's going on?
Oh, we're part of a TV show, and that's the camera crew outside.
Oh,
Probably
really?
come in here at one point and filming here, if that's fine with you.
Oh, what kind of a TV show is it?
Have you ever heard of Hoarders UK?
Hoarders UK.
Sorry.
Couldn't help herself. Couldn't help herself.
Hell no.
Is that one of them Yank shows?
Yeah, and then they've translated it over here. You know how they did The Office over there? Well,
Oh, I
they're
love
doing
that. I love
Hoarders
that program.
over here.
What kind of accent was that? Where we going with this, huh?
Go
Blue
on,
Bag does so well in an office environment.
I'm about to get
Wait for
chewed
you
out.
to go
so
eat a bag of
badly.
dick. You pansies. What's that?
Oh,
What you want from nothing, you fucks?
What?
so
This is where Nick's accent went.
I wasn't aware that there were any. Why would you be filming a show about hoarders in our community?
Well, see, you know the old rat catcher's place?
Oh, that guy.
Yes, that's where we're headed.
I hope they're paying you a lot.
I hope they are too, looking
right
at
at-
your husband.
What do you mean?
Well, roll a psychology roll.
I can do that. I can't do that. That's a 96.
I actually made it. I got a 0-2. I only
Oh.
hit base.
Yeah, you can. As soon as you talk about the rat catcher, you can kind of see like her face tense up, and her voice kind of there's a definite note of tension and dread in her voice when you mention the rat catcher.
I'm just
Okay,
enjoying my tea.
I'm just.
What's
I noticed nothing.
what? You seem like a little uncomfortable when we just mentioned the rat catcher. What's is there anything wrong? Like, is there anything that we should know?
You could make like charm or persuade depending on how you're approaching it.
I'm gonna let's go with persuade,
Okay.
and then I'm trying to be kind of questioning, not like I'm trying to be prying, but like not overly aggressive or anything like that.
Well, whichever one you have, you're better at.
I got a 22.
Okay, that passes.
Yeah, I got a 65, so I got
Yeah.
a hard success.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. So, well, I've only been here for a little while. I just bought this place, and I thought that this town would be just perfect. I mean, look at this place; just be perfect for summer tourism. But that guy, well, let's just say he doesn't believe in discreetly dealing with what he catches. It's
Oh,
disgusting.
what do you mean?
Well, he's a rat catcher. Do the math.
Well, what does he do with the rats?
Oh. Well, you tell me. You're the cleaning service.
That's
Ugh.
a odd thing to say.
I'm gonna get a picture of that facial reaction.
Why are you taking pictures of me?
I thought I told you to put that camera away.
My smartphone. Look at my smartphone. It doesn't. Yeah, it'd be all slick.
You should roll for sleight of hand. You should let him do it.
Okay.
Okay, let's see what happens. Come on, baby. Daddy needs a new pair of shoes.
Trying to fucking.
Oh my
Waiting
god!
for
I
the
rolled a 08.
Okay. Well, yeah, you take a picture of her with your iPhone.
Yep.
Yeah. Whew. You know, the irony of this situation, and she's talking to you, Nick, is that it used to be you could settle down and just get a drink after like seeing that crap. But I mean, I guess it was so bad that old and young George, the pub owners, moved to Appleford at the beginning of the summer because they just couldn't take it anymore. So now we don't even have the release of booze. You have to drive 20 minutes away just to get a pint. That's where we'd just be better off if they got rid of that guy.
Well,
Just can't believe I bought this place.
It's quite the story. Shirley nervously looks away.
And you would think they would just like have, you know, when you come by and say, I'd like to invest in your town, maybe open a shop. They'd say, oh, that's great. Just watch out for the rat catcher. Never heard of the word town dump in his entire life.
would you say he just left? He would just catch the rats, and just leave them strewn about, or?
Yeah, you really just need to see for yourself. It's disgusting.
All right.
It's disgusting. So anyway, what did you want to eat? What can I get you, love?
Tea. Yes.
Let's see. I'll have a cup Earl Grey and Cornish pasty.
Okay.
I'll have a tea, and I will also have a scone.
I'm just waiting for somebody to order spam, eggs and spam.
But I don't like spam!
No more spam! We gotta stop this. Right.
It's all right, dear. I'll have yours.
All right.
Love
So while you guys are enjoying your quaint Northern England pasties and stuff, the camera crew is busy with establishing shots of the exterior of this and several of the other buildings, which are abandoned. Yeah. And when they're finished, they're kind of looking at you, looking at their timepieces, their watches. Come on,
I think they're ready to go.
Show on the road. So, where to next?
I mean, where else is there to go but our final destination?
Yep.
All right.
Is there anybody we're supposed to stop and talk to?
Nope. You were given the keys and signed a contract for an exorbitant amount of money to clean this guy's house.
Well, this is an incredibly dreary afternoon and completely miserable with wetness. So I suggest we get this done.
I agree.
Yeah.
Right, Shirley. That's why you're my better half.
Never act like it before.
Oh, God. No, you two. Just please don't go the boat. We'll go make the boat go rocking.
What?
That was me stammering for a second.
I swear to this boy, like, Paul, I know I told you not to drop him on his head. when he was a child. Look what this did to him.
He was 10 years old. I fucking may as well body slammed him.
Old Gertine's cottage is perched at the end of the lane from the village and backs up against the woods. From the exterior, the single-story cottage doesn't look as if it needs much doing to it. The front garden is a little overgrown, but the white wooden gate is in good repair, and the hedges were obviously trimmed a couple of months ago. A short front path leads up to a whitewashed step and a dark green front door. There's a tiny pane of bullseye glass in the door, which is all but impossible to see through clearly.
Charming.
That is not the word I'd use for this place.
Who has the key?
You do.
I do?
Yeah.
Shirley takes and feels in his front pocket and hands it to him.
Oh. Right. I open the door.
All right. So the way this place is laid out is you have the front garden, which you just walked through, which is surrounded by a hedgerow. Facing the house on the right side, there is the hedgerow goes up to a door, like an old wooden door that leads to the side of the house. There's also the door that you just opened that leads to the interior, and it is a hallway with a door immediately to the left and the right, and at the end of it, you can see a few more doors on the far wall of a T intersection. So where do you guys want to start?
Front room, first room, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, left or right?
Damage.
Oh,
Yep.
sorry. Let's go left.
Okay. As you walk through the door, everyone give me a spot hidden roll.
Spot. Do I have?
Yes, I make that. Let's see, what is my spot?
Oh dear God, I made that.
I got a hard success.
Okay. I need a sanity roll.
I got it. Yeah, I got a hard success as well.
I'll need a sanity roll from everyone.
Ooh.
Oh no!
Just kidding. Yeah. So there's a distinct lack of junk mail beneath the letterbox, which is kind of odd for a house that's been unattended for a month. The hallway contains a side table, which would be the obvious place to put letters if someone had been collecting them.
Right.
And there's it's strange because it's empty, and then there's just like this crocheted lace doily, yellowing with age, on top of that table. It looks like it's been there since the 70s.
Hey.
Various faded prints hang on the walls depicting what seems to be pastoral scenes, rustic buildings, tasteful landscapes, stuff like that. Probably all like local. But I mean, it's definitely pastoral English scenes. There's no sign of a telephone. So you were going to the right or the left?
We keep going left, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, that was the front hallway.
Oh, we decided to go left, I believe.
Yeah.
So going left takes you into what appears to be a dining room. There's a sturdy, old-fashioned table in the center of the room. It is covered with scrapbooks and stacks of newspapers and magazines. There's a pair of scissors, a pot of foul-smelling glue, and a brush lying between the various piles. The brush seems to be stiff with dried adhesive.
Ew. Well, nothing we can't clean.
Yeah. There is a fireplace on the far wall opposite the door you came in, and above the fireplace there is a painting of it looks like a head, a face made out of plants, like leaves and vines.
Ooh.
It's rendered in various shades of green. The eyes and the smile are a little unsettling. The eyes look, it's that kind of thing where the eyes seem to follow you around no matter where you are in the room.
Sooner we're done cleaning this place, the faster we can get out of here.
There's also a sideboard that stands against the wall opposite the window.
I'm not the only one that thought he said cyborg for a second, right?
He did. Yeah, it's a sideboard.
Yeah.
I said cyborg.
Oh, cyborg. Okay. Sorry. What's interesting about the sideboard?
Okay, there are some images from before the Second World War, but there's a lot of there's photograph albums, and most of the pictures date to the 60s and 70s. Just looking at the double knits that the people are wearing.
Okay.
But none of the pictures seem to be anywhere other than from this valley. So the people in them are like standing in places around town.
Okay.
There also don't appear to be any photographs from the last 20 years.
Do we see any of like the same people over and over?
Yes.
Okay.
Obviously, the family.
Yeah, it's a family album. Okay.
Family album. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Do we know what the old man looked like?
Well, you could assume that one of the he kind of looks like Scott Torwood, but sorry.
Yeah, were we given a picture of him?
What is it,
No, but why would you even need to know? You're just cleaning his house.
Yeah.
But you can give me an idea roll.
Ooh, 98.
No.
13.
Yeah, well, obviously, considering he's called Old Man Green, and these pictures from the 60s and 70s, maybe the child in this picture, in any of these pictures, is probably him.
Interesting.
Considering what he said, what people in town have said about him, it makes sense that he wouldn't have a lot of like recent photos because nobody likes him.
Mm-hmm. Maybe his family were the ones taking the pictures too.
Maybe he had a passion that just didn't quite align. You know.
What's in the scrapbooks?
So there's a lot of articles, and this is why this man is my hero. There's articles and with pictures of rats and mice and gerbils, but the stories, the things that are cut out, include fairy stories, fiction stories, scientific articles, and advertisements for rodenticides and traps. And the other thing is these articles, stories, they go back decades.
It surely takes a closer to look at the
some of the newsprint on the article is yellowing and crumbling. Some of the oldest are annotated in a child's handwriting. There's also there's drawings of rodents and designs for traps. Also, but now the weird thing is interspersed between all this material on rodents are pictures that look a lot like the thing, the picture above the fireplace, above the mantle. Different aspects of this character. And there's a few stories associated with him. And he's referred to as the Green Man in these. And I'll read you a little blurb here.
Ooh.
So, originally known as Foliate Heads until Julia, Lady Raglan, renamed them for her article, The Green Man in Church Architecture, Folklore Journal, 1939. The true roots of these leafy faces are uncertain, although predominantly thought of as a European phenomenon with its heyday between the 12th and 15th centuries CE. Far older examples from the Middle East and Asia, possibly dating back to at least 300 BCE, are also known. Frequently found as stone carvings in churches and other ecclesiastical buildings, there is no one defining style of Green Man. Some have faces made entirely of leaves, whereas others have only their hair, eyebrows, and beards depicted as foliage. Some are seen to spew vines and branches from their mouths, eyes, or nostrils. The so-called uttering or disgorging heads, a form particularly popular in Britain, of course, whereas others do no such thing. Just what the Green Man represents is as ambiguous as its appearance. It may be a pagan nature, spirit, or god co-opted by Christianity, a symbol of fertility, death, and or rebirth, or a purely decorative feature, akin to a gargoyle or a grotesque. So he's got a lot of articles dealing with the Green Man in his rat memoirs.
I turned to the front of the book. And it says Steve's notes.
It's like little hearts above the eyes.
Okay.
Yeah, so what are you guys doing?
Sorry, go ahead, Lily.
No, I was just thinking. I haven't really figured out what I'm doing yet. This is Shirley's probably pretty intrigued by the articles, at least of the Green Man and the fairies and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lay out some of these notebooks and get pictures of them.
That's smart.
Yep.
That's a good idea.
Okay, so while he's doing that, what are the rest of you guys doing?
I mean, we came to clean.
That you did.
Yep.
The odd thing is this room doesn't look like it needs anything more than a tidying up.
Then on to the next. Cause start with the worst spots and work our way out.
Okay. So, are you going to go down the hall or across to the other front room?
I can go across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. To the right of the front door is what looks like to be the parlor. There's a tiled fireplace set into the outside wall opposite the room's door. A very large mirror in a heavy gilt frame hangs above it. There's a single photograph in an ugly frame that sits on the mantelpiece. It shows a couple in 1950 style clothing standing behind a young boy of around 7 or 8 years old. There's a white leather sofa covered with a tiger skin rug and 2 matching armchairs that provide the parlor's seating. There's also a bookcase against the wall opposite the window, covered in china ornaments and pieces of crystal, and a low glass coffee table in front of the sofa, upon which rests a huge black leather-bound book.
I'm going to take a look at that book.
It is the Gertine Family Bible. When you open it up, there's a detailed family tree drawn across several pages, tracing the family back to the turn of the 19th century. In addition, there are several charming pencil sketches of people who must be old Gertine's ancestors. Checking the date of Gertine's birth reveals that he was born in 1945, and his full name is Gilbert Oswin Gertine.
Gilbert Gertine.
Double G. That's what they called him before he turned into such a freak. When he was growing up, he was just simply Double G.
Yeah.
Double G.
You sure it wasn't G.G. Allen?
No, it wasn't. Because it would be G.O. Gertine. And the Rat Pack. So in the Bible, there are several pressed flowers that are faded with age and locks of hair. A few pages have been bookmarked with strips of ribbon.
Anything special about these pages that have been bookmarked? You know?
Well, one of them is the book of Samuel at the point where the Philistines craft golden rats as compensation payments to the Israelites for having stolen the Ark of the Covenant.
Ah, there you
go. Once again, you'll notice that this room, not only does it not look untidy, it looks like it hasn't been used in a while, and it could probably use some lemon pledge, and that would take care of everything.
So there's a layer of dust. Doesn't look like anyone's been walking around in it, but it's just dusty.
Yes.
Huh.
I go out on the limb to say he didn't actually use this part of the house for a long time from the looks of it.
Was the Bible dusty?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's been used in a while.
Huh. How peculiar.
So, continuing on, the front hall ends in a T intersection where there is a cross hall with several doors on either side of that hallway. So it looks like there would be 2 rooms that are in back of the 2 rooms that you had already visited, then the hallway, and then some living space behind there as well.
And this is a 1-story house?
Yes.
Interesting. Auntie, left or right?
Well, I mean, we're right next to the right side, so we might as well go in that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So as you're going down the hall, and everyone, give me a listen roll.
Yes.
Lily,
I made that hard.
Yo,
Lily,
I made that. Yeah.
You think you hear very faintly from up above you.
I immediately grabbed Paul's arm. You didn't say there'd be rats here.
I can't speak for Nick because he's going to the bathroom.
Well, of course he
But
did.
he just says, "Well, the man was a rat catcher."
In general, they usually kill the rats. Not hold on to them.
Well, the rats have to come from somewhere.
Oh.
Sorry, Nick, I'm butchering your character already. That's what you get for going to the bathroom. You're going to come back, head's going to be shaved, you're going to be strapped to a table on the inside of a mountain.
Nope.
Locked away at a hospital.
Nope.
Yep. It's Michael Chiklis back again.
Okay, so what happened was you're going down the hall to go explore the rest of the house, and as you were turning the corner, Lily heard very faintly from up above.
Huh.
To which Shirley said, "You didn't say that there'd be rats here."
And then you replied, "Well, he is a rat catcher."
Which he replies by pinching his arm.
Okay. Glancing up above you in the hall, you see that there is indeed an attic portal, but it doesn't. There's no pull string or anything. It's just like a hole sawn into the ceiling with a board placed over. You know, like they do. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So we should probably either find a ladder in here or charge the town for a ladder.
What?
I said we should probably either find a ladder in here or charge the town to buy a ladder.
Ladder in the van. We probably have a ladder in the van. Won't you go get it?
Why don't you give me a luck roll?
Me?
Yeah, whoever is going to go and try and find that ladder.
Oh, I failed.
Damn, you forgot to pack a ladder.
I believe it was Simon's job to make sure the ladder was there.
Nephew, you're supposed to make sure the van has all the equipment. Why wouldn't you pack the ladder?
Well,
You said ladder? I thought you said adder, Uncle, and I couldn't find a snake soon enough.
well, Father, I just want to. None of that. None of that. Stop that. Stop that.
Right. Cut that nonsense out.
All right.
Move on.
So you're going to the right, down the cross hallway. There is a door on the far wall. Almost. Actually, as soon as you turn either right or left, there's a door on the far wall. So there's two doors. You could see that further down towards the left, there's another door on the far wall, and then each of the nearer walls has a door as well. Does that make any sense?
There's a bunch of doors.
Yeah.
So, hold on. Door.
Let's go into the closest door.
All right. So that's kind of what the setup looks like. All the X's are doors.
Oh.
Okay.
Just go
Only
to
we're
the
turning. Well, there's one directly in front of us then?
Yeah, let's just go to the
Well,
first.
slightly left, slightly to the right, but more or less.
Well, I guess we were headed. We're on the right side, so I say we go to whichever is the closest door on the right. Is we turn
Okay.
the corner.
Okay. So you go across the hall, open the door into a kitchen. This is the most outdated kitchen you've ever seen. There is a gas cooker, complete with a cast iron kettle, and it looks like it should have been condemned years ago. As does the evil-looking boiler hidden under the cupboard to one side of the sink. There's a window above the sink, and you could see the back high hedges, and just above your line of sight, you could make out the tops of trees beyond the hedges. There is a pot of wooden spills and a large box of matches that sit beside the cooker. And spills are basically tapers that you light, and then you light the stove with, so you don't burn yourself. There are two doors into the kitchen. You went through one. There's also there's a door that looks like it goes out to the back garden, and one that goes to the courtyard on the side of the house. There's also a door that looks like it goes into a pantry.
No, we definitely need to see what's in there while we're here. But can we look out the windows before? Like, can we see how dirty are the windows? Can we see out of them?
Yeah, like I said, you could see out of them. The one above the sink, you basically are looking at a high hedgerow. There's a back garden.
We can't tell how dirty the backyard is either. So we have to go out there.
Does the kitchen look unused like the rest of the house that we've seen before?
You're gonna go exploring the kitchen a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so the pantry is full of tins. most of which are out of date. And there is a enameled bread bin, which with the moldering remains of a loaf inside.
Ew.
The refrigerator, tucked underneath one of the there's a tiny ice box with a tray of ice cubes, and inside the refrigerator is a sour bottle of milk. So
How sour? Like, how out of date is it?
do you want to open it?
No, I was hoping there'd be a date on it. If there's a date on it, yes, I want to know. If not, I'm not opening it.
Well, it looks like it's a delivered bottle of milk kind of thing.
Oh, okay. So
How old are the tins?
at least a few weeks.
I mean, how old are
the
those
tins
tins?
are out of date, like out of date. Like some of them don't even have a date. Some of them don't have labels.
Ooh.
Why, are you hungry?
No, I was wondering how long they've been here.
Had a piece.
I was trying to figure out if they've been here.
Yeah, we're
since,
trying
like,
to gauge
70s.
how long it's been since he's actually been in this room.
Yeah.
It looks like it's been, once again, like everything else, it looks like it could be cleaned, but it doesn't necessarily need to be scoured. You can actually hear the crew, the camera crew. They're kind of a little rumbling.
Let down, yeah.
Yeah, they were expecting this exciting, like, story of a hoarder with piles and piles of rats and garbage, but instead you have like just a guy who doesn't really take care of his house very well, but it's not horrid.
Huh.
So Shirley, well, kind of trying to make sure her best side is facing the camera, goes, he may not have actually used this part of the house very much. I'm sure we'll find something more when we get further in.
Yes,
There's got to be a reason that people don't like him.
Simon's going to do a Jim Halpert turn to the camera.
That's damn it.
Oh, come on, at least use the British guy.
He didn't really do those camera turns though in the British version. Oddly enough, yeah, that was more an American twist the Office. It actually wasn't a thing.
All right, so where are you guys going? You can go back into the house, take a look at the rest of it. There's the backyard. There's the courtyard.
Oh,
We didn't check out all of the house yet,
we
right?
didn't.
We
No,
haven't,
we
but we
haven't.
might
There's
as well
none.
at least look at the backyard since we're like already right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, going to the back garden. So you're doing the back garden, not the side courtyard.
Which one is closer to where we are in the kitchen? Like, whichever. It's like basically we're doing a preliminary sweep,
Yeah.
Well,
so it's just
right
wherever the house takes us.
Okay, so the closest one from where you entered would be the backyard because you just shoot across the kitchen and do you want.
Okay, so yeah, to the backyard first.
Okay.
Just basically, we're trying to see like what we are working with, so we can battle course of action.
Yep.
Because when you're cleaning, you want to kind of know what you're getting into before you commit all the way.
So
We're doing
the
the introduction of the show, the prelim fucking walkthrough.
The back garden consists of two moss-filled lawns, and a high hedgerow with a gate in the back. You notice that the hedgerow in the back is considerably taller than the hedgerow that was in the front.
Well, it's backyard.
And then once again, there's a gate in the hedgerow.
Curious.
Should we go back to the rest of the game, or
there's
go back to the rest of the house?
There's also what looks like a gate to go into the courtyard as well.
Does the
At
gate
least, like, poke our head into the courtyard because it's not looking like we even need to worry about back here.
Yeah.
So the courtyard is flanked by an L-shaped range of buildings partitioned into several separate areas. There's also, towards the front of the courtyard, like the front of the house part of the front of the courtyard, there is a vegetable patch and a compost heap, which has a large metal pitchfork stuck on top of it.
Compost heap, huh? I'm gonna take a look at that compost heap.
What are you looking for?
See if anything looks weird about it. Like, is it made up of just like normal compost materials like coffee grounds and peels and whatnot, or is there something off about it? I mean, was he putting rats in here?
It's comprised completely of tentacles.
Huh?
No, it's just a regular old compost heap.
Got him.
Huh.
Wow.
Man, this is one. This could be the easiest big fat paycheck we ever received. This company.
Well, for our sakes, I hope not. We have this camera crew here.
Well,
Yeah.
Wes, upon saying that, why don't you give me an idea roll?
I actually made that.
Yeah. Everything you've seen so far doesn't warrant the amount of money that they're paying you to clean this place up. There's something just doesn't quite click very well.
I was thinking that without making an idea. roll.
Look at that too. That's what? There's like a pile of rat skeletons you need to dig out somewhere.
Let's just keep looking. If there's nothing else, then at least we got a nice payday out of this.
We better find a nice payday because this is just weird.
Well, we've been paid already, haven't we?
No,
Oh, we haven't? Mm-hmm.
we have received a deposit.
No.
Also, this is like filming a pilot show, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so far this is some pretty shitty footage.
Who
Yeah.
exactly reported this house as being in need of being cleaned up?
The village
city?
council. You were hired by the village council.
Maybe they just didn't like the old man and thought that he was a hoarder. Let's keep looking. Hopefully we
Yeah.
find what we're looking for.
So, where are you going? You're going back into the house? Are you going to look inside the outbuildings?
I say we worry about the house first.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then come back out here.
Okay. You
We
go
can
back.
even split up if y'all want to just cover the rooms faster.
That sounds good. That sounds like a good idea.
Because considering what we've seen, it doesn't really seem like we need to like be together to assess stuff because there hasn't been anything to assess other than this man doesn't like use this house.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's going where? We have a room behind each of the parlor and the dining room. There is there's still two more doors on the back of the house that you haven't looked into.
I'll
And
take
there's
one.
also the outbuildings.
Yeah, I'll take a look at those outbuildings.
I'll
Okay.
take the 2 rooms that you mentioned before the
Yes.
outbuildings.
I mentioned a lot of rooms.
No. There
You said there were 2
that
rooms.
were like
Okay, the 2 rooms
adjacent
on
to
the-
each other.
Okay, the 2 rooms on the same wall as the kitchen.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do let's start with Lily.
Okay.
So Lily, you go across the hall from the kitchen into what appears to be a bedroom. This is another room that looks like no one's been in here for decades.
Wow.
There's twin wardrobes. One has a man's and the other has a woman's clothing, all from the later years of the 20th century. There's a dressing table that has antique jewelry silver vanity set, brush, mirror, and comb on it. Several tubes of lipsticks and compacts of pressed powder, all cracked and brittle with age. And there's another family picture on the bedside table.
I take a closer look at that family picture.
It is the same family that you've seen in the scrapbooks and the Bible. Or you know that. The room behind the dining room is also a bedroom, and this appears to be one that has been used.
Well, we're getting somewhere.
The wardrobe and drawers contain well-worn and heavily patched clothing. There are piles of old paperbacks, mostly ex-library books marked Appleford Library. They are stacked beside the single bed with its dingy green candlewick bedspread. The books are evenly split between romance novels and westerns, which is kind of a nice change from the rodent scrapbooks from the
Makes me feel a little bit better about this guy. He's got a little bit of a soft spot in his heart. He likes romance novels. I check the dates on the books. Like, how long have they been out? Do they look like they've?
Oh no, they were purchased from.
Oh, they're purchased. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was. You don't have to call the library police.
I'm not going to call the library police, man.
Yeah. So once again, though, even in the room that he's been using, just looks lived in.
This is odd. Maybe the rooms outside are the ones that people use for. Because the house seems fine.
Opposite that bedroom, Nick, there is a sitting room. It looks like it's more of a less formal place to sit than the front parlor is. And even though there's no television, there's an old radio that looks like it would have been home in the 40s or 50s. If you try it, you can't get anything other than static. There's a small turntable. Beside which is a stacked pile of LPs, singles, and a few 78s. Nothing dating beyond the late 70s. So yes, you can find a original pressing of Wind and Wuthering there if you wish. And there are some novels on the bookshelf, along with books on carpentry, do-it-yourself, and cookery. The books on cookery are very dusty.
Okay.
Next door to that, there is a indoor bathroom that looks like it was added on, as it has the same carpeting as the sitting room. And it is also spotless.
Jesus. Camera crew isn't following me, is it?
They're kind of like wandering around.
All right.
Wow, you gotta take a dump in this poor guy's house.
Yeah.
Wes.
Yes.
Okay. There are several doors from which you can go in. So it's an L-shaped building. There are 3 doors along the long part of the L and 2 doors along the short top part of the L. It's like a backwards and upside down L, to be honest.
Let's start off with the long part of the L and start off with the first door of the long part of the L.
Okay. Okay. That is a workshop. So walking in, there are shelves and benches stacked with tools and what appears to be animal traps of all shapes and sizes.
Huh. Okay. Does this stuff look like it's actually been used?
Well, the thing is, like, they are in various states of repair. And the odd thing is, there are a shit ton of devices for killing things. from the lowliest of lowly snap traps all the way up to rusted man traps hanging by their chains from the rafters.
Wow.
There's a small forge standing along the back wall beside an anvil and a grinding machine.
Ooh, a forge. Let's see. So let's see. Yeah, we got a forge here. Take a look at the forge. Anything you're noting there?
Not really. But as you're poking around and making your way back, I'll need a luck roll.
Oh, luck. Let's see what happens. No, I'm not lucky.
Make a dodge. Oh, no, that's fine. So, yeah. You'll take 2 points of damage as you brush past one of the hanging traps. It snaps and takes a little bit of your arm with it.
God, oh, blimey. Oh, God, ow. Son of a diddly. All right, as I wander back out, holding my arm.
Yeah, so you're going to the next one in order?
Yeah, we're just going to go to the next one as I question my life decisions.
Yeah, so the next one this looks like it's a potting shed. So it's stacked with garden tools, clay pots, and the like. This is probably where, gloves. This is probably where he keeps his stuff for tending his little vegetable patch.
Huh. Interesting. There's gardening tools and whatnot. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Anything off about anything off about here? Any Green Man symbology around here?
The spores from the plants affect you strangely.
Fool me once.
No, there's absolutely nothing. It's like a guy's potting shed.
Okay, door number 3 then.
Okay, in this corner, this is like the corner room.
Yep.
This is a chemical storage area with dark brown bottles, metal tins, and canisters arranged neatly on wooden shelves. You can give me a biology or chemistry roll.
Ooh, I do have chemistry. Yeah, I'll give you chemistry. 06.
Yeah, so there are various poisons and herbicides in here, and rodenticides, some of which have been illegal to own for years, because they have intergenerational effects. So, like if a rat eats something and it dies, and then a fox eats the rat, the fox will also die because it doesn't metabolize very well. So you get secondary poisoning. So those things are banned. There are herbicides that are banned because they have been proven to cause cancer. Stuff like that. It's great stuff. Guy's my hero. A lot of them have partial labels. And some of them aren't labeled at all.
Wow.
But once again, everything that in these back rooms may be a little cluttered, especially the workshop, but nothing like crazy. Going around the other side of the L, there is a general storage room, and you can give me a spot hidden roll.
Come on. 16. Yes.
Yeah, there's a ladder there.
Ooh, we got a ladder. All right. Well, that's one less expense charge.
And the final room is it's an old outdoor toilet. And judging by the slightly damp toilet roll hanging from a piece of string on the back of the door, it's still in working order.
Ugh.
That the general storeroom that had the ladder also has coils of rope and wire hanging neatly from nails on the walls, and there are logs stacked tidily besides a couple of sacks of coal. So once again, there's absolutely nothing untoward about this house.
Okay, I'm going to go back, grab a ladder. Do one of those traps look like they're in working order?
What the
Rat
trap?
trap. Yeah.
Well, you tell me. Did those?
I'm trying to say, you mean the one that took a chunk out of your arm?
True. I'll take that one then. Yeah, I'll take that.
That is not a rat. That is a man trap. That is like a big fucking bear trap. That guy.
Why would you have a man trap?
I told you, the guy's my fucking hero.
But big ass rat.
What kind of rats is he catching?
Big ass rat.
Big ass rat.
Haven't you ever seen that Tom and Jerry episode?
Which one?
You got to go and listen to Wind and Wuthering. There's a song called All on a Mouse's Night on there that will explain everything.
Oh, I'm grabbing that ladder.
Okay.
And we're heading back in the house.
What are you doing with the ladder back in the house? I am assuming you're going to try and pop into the attic, but
that is the plan.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not fireballing stuff yet.
Okay. Yeah, so y'all kind of are done looking at uninteresting things in the house, and Wes comes back with the ladder and starts setting it up underneath the hatch.
Now, do be careful, Simon.
Where'd you find that?
I found it in the outbuildings.
Well, I hope it's safe.
Seems as sturdy. Seems as sound as a pound.
All right. So who's going up the ladder?
I said the lady here.
Well, I just turned to Uncle and go, age before beauty.
Hold on, I'm looking.
Go on, lad. You're the youngest.
In a game that has codified statistics for appearance, sometimes it's hard to say that because Paul Martin actually wins on both those accounts.
Oh shoot!
So I'll ask again. Who's going up the ladder?
You know your uncle has a bad hip.
That's what he said. That's what he said last season. That's what he said last year.
Simon, you're going up the ladder.
Yeah, I'm going up the ladder.
Okay. Opening up the attic hatch releases a cloud of dust straight into your face. It is only wide enough to permit access to one of you at a time. I'm going to assume that you have a flashlight with you.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
Or on your smartphone or whatever.
Yep. Well, yeah, we'll just do. Yeah. The flashlight and phone.
Okay. It is a cold and shadowy space. It stretches across the whole of the cottage, but there's only room to stand up fully along the center, where the roof is at its highest. There's a hot water tank, numerous tea chests and suitcases, and piles of old newspapers. It is not a fully floored attic. They have taken planks and put them across the joists to store things on. So if you plan on looking at the attic, you have to go from joist to joist for the most part. And I will need a dex roll.
Okay. Well, let's see what else I got. Dex. I have Dex.
Okay, yeah. So you pull yourself up and you start hopping from joist to joist. Give me a listen roll.
03.
Yeah. So From the other side of the attic, you hear a, and as you turn around to look, you could swear you see like maybe the a bit of red flash low to the floor as something may have moved within sight of your light. But you know, iPhone lights are not very bright at the distance, so you can't be sure.
Yes. Huh.
Simon, are you okay?
For now, yes.
So you make your way over to where the chests are, and they contain old toys and books. The suitcases have various pieces of children's clothing for different ages. There's a suit and a wedding dress, carefully wrapped in tissue paper, and a small album of wedding photographs.
Okay, so his parents' stuff and his old toys. Any other boxes or trunks up here?
No.
Well,
You've definitely been in messier attics.
yeah. So there's not much else up here then, huh?
No.
Okay, come back down.
As you're going back down, can I please have a spot hidden roll?
05.
Yeah, there are droppings on the insulation. Give me a no roll. Do you have biology?
Let's see, I have chemistry and physics.
Yeah, just give me a no roll or EDU. Yeah, give me an education.
Well, I rolled 100.
Yeah, I mean that you don't know what kind of droppings they are. You're not a scatologist.
Nope.
Unless you have tracking. Do you have tracking?
Actually, I have it at base.
No, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so you get back down the ladder, and the crew's kind of grumbling. You know, when you know all this first went down, they thought that this was going to be like an auspicious beginning for a hit television show, and all you have is people like no one wants to watch basically a maid service. So they're trying to regroup and think. And one of them asks, "Where did this guy get such a reputation?"
It's a good question. The people in town seem to think this house is pretty bad.
They said, I mean, that woman at the cafe, she said when we came here, we'd see for ourselves.
I heard that as well.
But
Think he's got something hitting around here?
There's gotta
If you have the right address, the key will open the door.
Well, this is definitely it. The guy's got to be hiding something.
Is there anywhere we haven't been yet?
Yeah. Is there like a crawl space or something?
There's not. It's built on a slab.
Shit.
There's like nothing up there. There's nothing up there except some droppings, and maybe some rats. I don't know. I don't know droppings. Could be a raccoon for all I know.
Yeah, we don't exactly exterminate it. That was his job.
Yep.
Apparently not very good at it.
Well, he's got a lot of poisons, a lot of illegal poisons over there.
Yeah, but they could have hardly hired you to take poisons to the town dump. Now, there's got to be something more. Is it? I mean, what haven't we looked at?
Is there something we haven't looked at?
Just
No, well, you've looked at everything in the house and the outbuildings.
let's see. We looked at the courtyard.
We didn't go past the gate, did we?
No. You have not.
Well, let's take a look back there.
Right. Lead the way, nephew.
So you go into the back garden and open the gate. About 10 feet through the gate, there's a path. At the gate, there's a path that goes through a damp and foreboding woodland. The first thing that strikes you as you pass through the gate, is the apparent presence of a bunting running between the branches of the trees on the edge of the forest.
There goes a French man's dinner.
I'm not even going to ask.
Oh, I thought you said bunting, as in bird.
Bunting, as in like streamers that get festooned.
Oh, okay.
The 4th of July is coming up, and they put up red, white, and blue.
Oh, those are called buntings. Okay.
Is anything
That's
hanging
not
from?
supposed to be there.
Yeah.
What's interesting about this?
Well, give me a sanity roll. Everyone. I'll be looking for the crew.
I missed it by 1.
I failed miserably.
Really?
Yeah.
What are we rolling?
We can't spend luck for sanity rolls, right?
No. You
Yeah.
could
What were we rolling?
Sanity.
I make that 15.
Let me just see how these people do. Make. Make. And make. All right. So you lose 1 if you make it. If you fail, you will take 2. Because upon closer inspection, it isn't bunting at all, but the corpses of dozens upon dozens of rats and mice strung up by their tails from ropes hung between the trees.
Lord.
Wow.
The bunting extends the width of the house and back another 20 feet or so into the woods. Looking on the ground, there is a litter of rodent skeletons, mummified corpses of rats and mice. Each one of them looks as if it's staring right at you.
I believe we found the source of our town's worries.
Well,
That's
Then she turns to the camera people. I believe we found what you were looking for.
hell of a great way to start UK hoarders or hoarders UK.
I'm taking pictures. I've taken so many pictures of this.
Yeah, well,
Hoarding rats.
and like I said, there is a trail that goes through the woods. And anybody can give me an idea roll.
Yeah.
Do we really need to roll an idea roll?
Yeah, I made that.
Maybe we should walk down the thing. Oh, I didn't make
I made it. Oh my gosh.
it.
I made it.
All right, so if you made it, you realize that you had heard that there's a trail running through the woods that leads to the old Episcopal Church.
Oh boy.
So that a lot of the townspeople or tourists have been using this trail and have run into what you see before you.
Well, that would explain why so many people have moved away from here and businesses falling off. I think I see why they wanted us to clean this up. Goodness.
Yeah. Got our work cut out for us, don't we, Auntie?
All right. So, what are you guys going to do?
Slowly make our way up the path, I think, because we need to see how bad this is.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not phased. I don't know if you guys passed or failed your sand rolls. Like,
I failed.
I failed, but it's only 2 points.
so yeah, I imagine that
it's
Shirley's
like-
probably kind of leading the way.
Yeah, it's like a creep factor. So, as you start walking the path through the woods, getting past the crunch of the substrate, which goes about, like I said, 20 feet into the woods. There is a lot of corpses dangling from the trees and on the ground. And you definitely have your work cut out for you. Once you get past that, I need a combined spot hidden and listen roll from you guys.
You say spot and listen or just a split?
Spot and listen, yeah.
I failed.
I failed miserably at both.
I passed both.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so Lily, you get the distinct feeling as you're walking through the woods that you're being watched. You can swear you even like hear branches moving, and maybe out of the corner of your eye you'll see one, but there's no wind.
Yeah, she kind of stops her tracks and looks around.
Yeah, it's not something that you could, like, if you're looking directly at it, you're just looking at woods, but
Yeah, it's just the unnervingness of it, considering where we are.
on your
That's
head,
why she stops and she's looking around.
yeah.
She hasn't said anything, but yeah, she just stopped and she's kind of looking nervously around.
Yeah. Are you continuing down the trail?
Paul, love, I think there might be someone else here with us.
Oh? And I start looking over my shoulder.
Yeah, you, Nick, you don't notice anything out of the ordinary.
I don't see anybody around.
I've got a hole in me pocket. Half a hole.
I wonder what that could be.
Sorry. I wonder if, like, people in England, when they play Call of Cthulhu and, like, in Lovecraft country, if they, like, constantly make these stupid references about shitty American things.
Yes.
Okay.
Almost definitely.
Listen to the Yaksa Thoth podcast sometimes. Yes.
Well, there we go. It's revenge.
Yep.
I feel like it's even at this point. It's fine.
It is revenge. Okay. You make your way up the path, and it leads to the what looks like the backside of the church.
Is there a door? Or any way inside?
So the church is an old church building surrounded by a low wall. Who has history?
I do.
So you kind of have the way this is set up is the path winds through the woods and comes out on the backside of the church, and the church is backed up to the woods, just like this guy's house was. Okay. Yeah. So Lily, you can make a history. Oh, actually, you don't even need to make the roll.
Okay.
I'll tell you this for free. It looks like the church has been here for at least 1,400 years, just by the architecture and where you are. There's no bell tower, just a brass bell mounted under a canopy at the west end of the church.
Mm-hmm.
It's a narrow stone building. It has a tiny porch on its southern wall and what appears to be an extension at the eastern end. This is probably where the altar is.
I start explaining that to them.
Uh-oh.
Also, just looking at the construction, a lot of the stones that the church is built out of are older than the building itself.
So they were probably brought here from somewhere else.
And a lot of the building stones are marked with unusual symbols. And what's your history skill?
30.
30? Yeah, they look to be Roman in origin. Though even if you had the language, even if you had Latin, you couldn't read it just because of the age
and
the
wear.
weathering.
Yeah.
You just can't. You could maybe make a rubbing of it, maybe.
Yeah, she's going full theatrical explanation, like, documentary style explanation. She's playing this shit up.
The film crew's filming you while you're looking at this shit.
Like, she's gone full aliens guy, like, right now. It's aliens. She's explaining the facade. It's like,
now you can actually make a history roll.
Let's see if I can. Nope, I can't.
Okay.
85. No, I didn't come close to making it.
Okay. So going around the exterior of the building, inside the church porch, there's a decaying notice board, which have a few faded and handwritten announcements. One is for the previous year's village fete, and there's another with the service roster for the current year. You would probably know this. The church doesn't have the manpower to have a vicar in every church. So remote churches like this, isolated villages, they don't have weekly services. You have a rotating vicar he'll spend a service here in this village, and then the next week we go to this village, and he does a rotation. So they have like routes for their parishes as opposed to their home parish.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like, according to the service roster, Muscovy has one morning service a month. And looking at the size of the church itself, it's probably not a lot of people go anyway. The oak door to the church is not locked.
Well, we should probably go in to make sure he hasn't done anything inside the church, considering what he did leaving here.
Yeah, should we check it out?
Yep.
All right, so inside there's a simple nave with folded wooden chairs that are stacked against the walls, which are mostly bare apart from a carved frieze depicting cavorting rodents, which runs across the windowless north wall just above head height. The window and door frames are also carved with mice and rats of various sizes. Their beady eyes watch the investigators in quite literal stony silence. So once again, we have these frescoes and bas-reliefs of mice and rats that their eyes appear to follow you wherever you go.
This is odd. I don't think I've ever been in a church with this sort of decoration.
What kind of donation did he make to the church for this?
There's a small bookshelf by the door with about a dozen hymn books and orders of service. They smell of damp, and they have been visibly nibbled by something.
I'm going to assume it's been nibbled by rats after all this stuff.
Yeah, everyone can give me a listen roll.
Nope.
I hear everything.
I heard nothing.
I failed.
Oh,
Wes,
yes.
familiar sound.
Auntie, Uncle, I think the rats live here.
You mean the rats live here?
I heard rat sounds like I was in the attic.
I mean,
Okay.
there's rats everywhere. Maybe it's just in your head.
At this point, if you have a Latin, history, or biology or zoology at above 10%,
Yep.
you can
Mhm.
roll.
I have none of those.
I make history,
I
and that's
failed.
nothing else. Made history right on the dot.
I got a 93.
Okay. Yeah. So, recalling back to your school days, Lily, and you realize that the Latin word for mouse is mus, M-U-S.
Mm-hmm.
Probably where the village of Muscogee gets its name.
Ooh.
So
I
it
bring
looks
that
like-
up as like she starts to giggle a little bit. I just realized the Latin for mouse is mus, M-U-S, and the town must have been named after that. That's quite curious, don't you think?
Oh God.
As you make your way
Whoa.
through the interior, you notice a heavily carved stone font, which stands close to the middle of the western wall. It seems to be off theme. Instead of rats and mice carved into it, this is festooned with rampant vines, which appear to crawl like carved vines, not actual vines, which crawl across its surface and reach deep into the bowl. Strange faces reminiscent of the Green Man peer out from between the leaves. The carvings on the font are heavily worn, and the style is quite naive, suggesting that it, like many of the stones in the wall, predate the church by a significant margin. There's no cover for the font.
Huh.
The wall above the archway leading through to the high altar at the east end of the church has a much larger green man face that glowers down upon you. Everyone can make an idea roll.
Oh boy.
Jesus. You roll shit.
I
got a 99.
I made it.
I'm glad you did because I rolled a 91.
All right, Wes, this is the exact same carving that the picture over the fireplace in the house represents. This must be the original from which that picture was painted. It is fashioned from nothing but carved leaves, and the thing's eyes seem to stare right through anyone who looks at it. Its lips are curved into a mocking smile. Does anybody have biology or botany?
I have biology.
You have biology? Yeah, you recognize them as oak leaves. Anyone have? Well, you have history. Does anyone have occult or architecture?
No, I don't think I have architect. I don't have either one of those.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
You would expect her to with her backstory to have at least a little bit in it.
You do have enough history to know that that these green men are often found in medieval churches, but like this particular example of it is pretty freaking rare.
This is amazing.
Now, the stained glass window above the high altar, normally you would have something that has to do with the saints or the Stations of the Cross. Usually you have that, like the crucifixion right above there, blah, 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 in the stained glass. This is none of that. It appears to be another depiction of the Green Man.
Wow.
That's odd, because it wouldn't be that prominent in a church like this.
That looks a little weird. It doesn't quite look like the C of E.
I think we may have discovered something a bit more impressive than just a bunch of hoarder problems.
Yeah, they got some border problems. Because that border looks wrong around the church wall.
I'm so disappointed. I am so disappointed in you.
Somebody's got to say that boy, right?
It's like I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
That boy ain't right.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
That
start a
boy ain't
picture
right.
of that. Gonna start a picture of that Green Man fresco, by the way. You freeze or whatever. Getting a picture of that.
Okay. So at this point, what do you guys want to do?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. Shirley's probably pretty enthralled with what's in this church, just looking at it, because she's never seen anything like this before.
Right.
So that's what she's doing. She's just kind of like wrapped up and looking around
Okay.
and explaining, like she's talking out loud as she's looking around, like explaining the stuff she knows about from history.
Mm-hmm. So bigger picture, you have a shit ton of dead rodents that
That we
is
need.
your responsibility to clean up. You have that. There, you know that. Lily, give me an idea roll.
Hey, I passed one for once.
Okay, so a lot of the books that you saw in Gertine's house come from the Appleford Library. So that's probably the closest place where you'll be able to like do any bit of investigating about what is going on with this church, if that's what you want to do.
She definitely would want to, but this is Paul's show, really. It's like we are supposed to be cleaning up these rat corpses, where she's like, this is so much more fascinating than cleaning up rat bodies.
So you guys are going to start
Yep.
cleaning rat
Yeah.
bodies.
Yeah, let's grab some of the old trash bags and start putting away some skeletons.
Okay. So how are you getting back? Are you going the long way around, or are you cutting back through the woods?
Say we just cut back through the woods.
Yeah, why wouldn't we go back to the woods?
What do you mean? Why would we cut back through the woods? Did you not hear me when I said someone else might be out here with us?
I didn't see anyone. I didn't see anyone, honey. I think it's all right.
It might be a fox, They get or a badger, It's all dead rats.
That is the wrong campaign for foxes and badgers, my friend. That's Mondays.
She opens her mouth to protest and just kind of shrugs, because she knows it's a lost cause at this point to try to argue with them that we don't need to go back to the woods.
Okay. So you go back through the woods. At this point, Wes and Nick, you can give me spot hidden / listen rolls.
I make both. Yep, I make both.
Okay. As you're heading back to the cottage, now you guys notice that even though there's no wind, you can still see out of the corner of your eyes branches waving in what would be a breeze. And you can hear the creaking of the wood as it bends against the wind that isn't there.
I don't know this at all.
Oh, sure. Now you don't like it, dude. It's just poor little Shirley being all sensitive before.
What the?
I'm sorry, dear. You're right.
Okay. You make your way back to the back of the cottage with its 20 feet square of rat corpses.
Red corpses.
Nope.
Yeah, so time to put on the gloves and get to
Yeah, I
work.
was going to say put the rubber gloves on. How late is it getting?
It's actually getting fairly late right now. You probably have you might be able to put in a couple hours to like get it started.
Okay.
So yeah, you start digging in rat corpses,
Yep.
cutting them through trees, putting them in bags. Yeah. Now, obviously, you can't do this all in one fell swoop. You don't have bags of holding in Call of Cthulhu. So you kind of set up, get a trash bag. You start shoveling in stuff. They're filming you do this. You bring the bag back to your van, throw it in, and come back. And everyone, once you do this,
Whoa, we're just throwing it in the van. We don't have like a dumpster or anything like that.
But we can't do the dumpster, especially out here in the middle of like where we are.
Yeah,
We gotta
I mean,
carry it back. It's not like you're gonna come pick it up for us.
yeah, your game
Damn.
plan is dumping it in the van and taking it to a dumping facility.
We didn't know it was gonna be rat corpses.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
It's gonna be
We thought this was gonna be a general load, cleaning it up,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like, oh, you got a whole bunch of like old food and shit that we can throw away.
there is an area dump that you can use in Appleford or outside the outskirts of Appleford as well. Appleford seems to be the actual place that is an attraction in this area as opposed to where you are.
Right.
Just
Wow.
But you guys, when you come back from your first haul, getting with fresh trash bags, getting ready to get another round. The woods have. It looks like they've moved closer to the cottage. And the first time you do this, you kind of scratch your head and
We're just tired.
shrug it off like, okay, well,
We're just
But-
tired. We did a lot of walking and looking, and
right, you're spooked. You have that feeling of being watched in the woods. But the second time you come back and it's even closer. And by the third round, you notice that the woods have actually moved. There's no mistaking it. The backyard, the back garden, the area which was a good 10 feet between the back hedgerow and the woods is now maybe a whole 3 feet less.
oh
Wow.
dear, Polly, I think we should leave now.
Get there. I don't want to see so much for nitrates in that soil.
Yeah, what they are. I don't think we should be here anymore. This is not right. This is not how nature works.
Maybe somebody just maybe the village gardener just came by and just
For
started.
once in your life, could one of you listen to me? Can we just go? I
think
don't
you're
like
right,
this.
Billy. I think we should head back to Appleford or something. This is a bit unsettling, and it's getting late.
It is getting dark, and yeah, the it very well possibly could be a trick of the light. But as you like start scrambling to get your van to get into your van, you notice that once again it is a very still evening, but you can kind of see the trees swaying in
Right.
what would be a wind if there was a wind.
I'm obviously very tired. I don't know about you two, but I think it's time to retire for the evening.
Whatever it takes to get you in this van and away from here, let's do it.
Time to head to the pub.
Okay, I hear that the pub is in order. Now, here's a question. It's getting to be 11:30. I don't know what anybody's situation is. If you guys want to break here on the road to Appleford, that's fine, and we can do this again next week. I have no problem with that.
It actually sounds like a good idea to me.
Yeah,
What
it does.
you guys think?
Yeah.
Okay, this is a good point to leave it be. Okay, cool. No,
Nice creepy cliffhanger.
Yep.
part one of Scritch Scratch, and we'll do we'll pick this up. All right. Thanks everyone who's listening, people who watched, if you watched, and yeah, and you guys, thanks for playing. And even though this is not pulp, keep 30 luck points.